Have you ever wondered why it's not easy to do the things that you want to do? That you might have an idea, I'm going to do this thing, and you just don't do it. Or you procrastinate and you sit around and nothing much happens. And you're like, what? How come I can't do these things? Well, I completely understand. I've just got back from a trip. I've been away for about a month. I haven't done any work for about a month. I've got endless stuff I need to do. I've got this book, big old book that I'm working on finishing up. Endless other projects. I mean, it's just been sitting around twiddling my thumbs, watching videos, reading magazines, and not up to much, right? And there's a reason for this. There's a reason it's hard to get things done, and that's because we have resistance. Stephen Pressfield wrote The War on Art, and then he followed it up with Turning Pro. These two books talk about the resistance. The resistance is that part of us that doesn't want us to do the work. And if we allow it to get the better of us, we will just have ideas and won't do anything about it. And I've written a book about this, the Get It Done 21-Day Challenge. And I was just looking at the comments that I get for this book, which is, sometimes useful. And I'm doing this video because I read this comment and I thought, this guy has an interesting point and I want to address it directly. Whenever I get bad reviews, first of all, I cry for about an hour and a half. And once I'm done with my tears and my throwing chairs and smashing windows and planning revenge, then I cool down, have a cup of tea, and can take things to the next level. So let's look at this comment. So this wonderful chap says that I didn't like the attacking the world mindset this book wanted you in. This one line, barely a third of the way, but really put me off. If you want to be successful and happy, you must recognize the enemy clearly and win the war for your mind and your life. It goes on to say, ignorance is not bliss. It's suicide. If we don't realize what we're up against, we're throwing away our lives to a merciless saboteur that wants us to fail. But is it true? Do we have this saboteur within us, and can we just ignore all this, or is it at our own peril? Do we need to take a bit of a hardcore attitude or not? So anyone who knows me knows that I'm a pretty relaxed person and I like to have as much ease and grace as possible. But when it comes to getting things done, there is this force within us that makes it very difficult to do the things that we want to do. And I've been experimenting with different methods of getting things done for a long time. See all these books? I've read so many books on productivity, and frankly none of them really worked, which is why I created this book, Get It Done, because it's the only thing that has actually allowed me to get loads and loads of stuff done very, very quickly, if it's applied properly. But of course I'm biased, I wrote the book, it's my system. Let's talk to RL about it. See, RL doesn't know what I'm going to ask her. When it comes to this thing about the war with resistance, because it sounds a bit harsh, and we teach meditation. We know we're into being peaceful. We're not into fighting people. What do you think about the war with resistance in terms of should you just be nicey, or do you have to think of it like Arjuna on the battlefield? Aurel actually added a part of the book where she added a quote about the Gita. Yeah. Didn't you? But anyway, I'm curious about your thoughts about this.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, definitely the resistance is worse than we think it is. And at least I find it it's very sneaky in the sense that it justifies in our minds like a lot of excuses and reasons, and kind of covers itself up, so it's really easy to not see it. But when you really have a good look and see how much there's been this resistance to actually achieving your goals, you start to realize it actually is a really big problem. And I mean, I consider myself a peaceful warrior, so does Michael, but it is a war in a sense, you know. You can't just let the resistance live and take over, because you'll never be able to achieve what you really want to in your life. So there's some things in life that we have to meet with that kind of peaceful warrior attitude of, you know, I mean business and I have to do this and I'm definitely going to overcome this. It doesn't mean you have to get angry or aggressive in yourself. You don't have to feel negative emotions, but you do have to have determination and clarity and be very aware and awake, not to kind of go into laziness and sleepiness and just let resistance take over. And yes, the quote from Arjuna in the book, it's from the Gita. I think it's a really great example of how we have to enter this battlefield that is life at times, that is the resistance versus us trying to get our work, our dharma into the world.
That's why it's so easy just to sit around, watch TV, not do much, you know, just kind of cruise around. Very, very, very easy to do that. If you want to bring something to life, it's actually very, very, very difficult. That's why I wrote the book, Get It Done, based on my own experience of how I've managed to pull it off. And I'll show you how I do this, how I break the resistance. So the first thing to beat resistance is simply to know what you want. I think the reason that most people are stuck, if you don't know what you want, your vision, your goal, your aim, where you're going, if you don't know that, then we're just floating around in the ocean of life. We're just floating around, floating around. What it fundamentally means doing a 21-day challenge is that you discover what you want to do, then how you're going to do it, and then you set up rock solid accountability to make sure you do it, and then you actually get on with it, and then finally you take a break. You take a break, have a nice, well-deserved break. Alright, so here's how I'm going to crack the code on my 21-day challenge and stop wasting my time reading magazines and fiddling about. So first of all, we need to discover what do you want to do. So I've got between now and 3 weeks in the future. So I just want to mention that this 21-day challenge I'm about to show you isn't done properly. It's not done as I mentioned in the book. I'm just simplifying it for this video. I'm going to do another video that goes into how to do this in detail, because it's quite a process to get it right. It takes a bit of time, a bit of practice. So we're just going through it quickly, missing a few things out. I'll share more about it afterwards. All right, let's get going. So the main thing I commit to is to finish book. And I have some other top secret things that I'm afraid I can't tell you about. To celebrate my success, I'm going to go to either Kauai, can't even spell it, Kauai, or Maui. And then my daily actions for success is going to be work from 7 to 11 a.m. Go on hike after that. No internet, this has to be removed. And do not go to bed late. So now I have this piece of paper, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill some more of this stuff in. What I'm going to do, why it's important, what my accountability is, to make sure I do it. What I'm going to do when I'm finished, to celebrate. What I'm going to do every single day to make sure that I do it. What I'm not going to do so I don't get distracted, and how I'm going to make sure I do those things every day. This piece of paper, simple as it might seem, is going to allow me to finish stuff which otherwise would be very, very, very difficult. It makes it so much easier. And then we have this one, which basically shows what results do I want this week, what am I going to do, what results the next week, what am I going to do the next week, so that I know what I need to achieve every week, so that I end up finishing my book and everything else. It's kind of like Popeye when he takes his spinach. When you fill that in, all of a sudden the massive power comes back to you. This makes a huge difference, and you can, I go about into the system in the 21-day challenge. How does it all fit together? Right there, get it done. So after a month off of meditation and traveling, it's time to get back on the mission, creating things. It brings so much joy to create. I'm sure it does for you as well. When you have creation, a project, then you have something to get excited about when you wake up in the morning. So in conclusion, it is a war. The resistance beats almost everyone in the world every single day. But we can make it fun. We can make it as fun as possible, as joyful as possible, as easy as possible, even though it normally is difficult. So if you're having challenges beating the resistance, if you find that you have ideas and they're just not happening, just give it a shot. Try the 21-day challenge. If you want to get the book, it's only a couple of bucks. And then you also get a $400 free course that goes with it, that goes exactly step by step how you can come up with your idea, even if you don't know what to do now, then how to do it, the action steps needed to make it happen, how you make sure you're going to do it with bulletproof accountability, and then you do it, and then once you're done, you can go on a wonderful vacation, go on a break, take some time off, celebrate your success, and then get back on the mission again the next time round. So I'm excited to get back on the mission. Thanks for being here. I appreciate your presence. Hope you get on your mission. It really makes such a big difference. Thanks for watching, and many, many, many blessings. So Ariel, you've seen me over the last 7 years. Have I been able to get as much done without doing the 21-day challenge as I am when I do it?
No, I think what can happen to you and myself as well is we busy ourselves in unnecessary things, so it seems like we're working all the time, but we're getting nothing done.
Have you been able to get as much done without the 21-day challenge?
No, definitely not. I think I'm somewhat of a floaty person. Like, I can of course be grounded and focused, but I also can be a little bit like ethereal and like to float about and do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I enjoy it, but it's not really effective in actually getting anything done. And then what happens after some time is that I'm not getting enough done, and I'm not having like deep official time and relaxation. I'm too much in this gray zone, and I just get drained. So by having an aim and getting something done, I then feel like I earned a proper breakaway, and it definitely is a reprogramming, for me at least, of what I'm used to, but it's a much more enjoyable way to live.